Welcome to Knafs at Night, I'm Austin.
I'm Ben.
And today we're talking about why these knives may not have a super bright future.
We're talking about how you two can have a biggie fig at your house.
And we've got some hot new drops from some friends in Mailbox.
Let's
go!
Okay guys, here's the deal. Just yesterday we saw news from New York that Crucible, who makes S35, S30, 20CV, MagnaCut, all these different knife steels that we use on all sorts of knives in the knife industry, has like 90 days. They're basically like entering bankruptcy, is my understanding. Now, this is a part of business that I don't quite understand.
Right.
I think if you have financial problems, you have to declare that we have a problem. Mm-hmm. They have declared that they have a problem.
Okay.
And this is where like things are getting interesting. Mm-hmm. And I've learned a lot about steel the last 2 days, just a few things.
Seriously.
But basically, Crucible makes ingots, which sounds like some sort of Spanish galleon, right?
Yeah.
But an ingot is basically a block of steel.
Yeah, just like a blank piece of metal, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they send this off to these guys at Niagara Steel.
Okay.
Niagara Specialty Metals. Now, Bob from Niagara Specialty Metals said this. He said, I wanted to share an update about Crucible Industries. They've issued a warn notice indicating a possible shutdown in 90 days. So,
wow.
Niagara gets these ingots. They roll them into thickness so that you can turn them into knives. So like if you're talking MagnaCut, Crucible takes all the inner materials of steel, the recipe, they make the ingot, they ship it off to Niagara. Niagara rolls it, and then Niagara ships it all over the world. So like when you look at like a banter in S35 VN steel, that goes from Crucible to Niagara to Wiensavivi in China, and then they ship it back.
Right.
That's how this knife making thing goes.
So Niagara's only shipping strips of metal. They're not even shipping like blank blades or anything like that. They're just
sheets of metal.
Sheets of metal.
Sheets of metal is what they're shipping. So what our friend Bob from Niagara says, we've already placed orders with Era Steel Carpenter, Elwood Quality Steels, and Universal Stainless, who will provide the same high quality products and the same exact chemistries.
Okay.
So basically, Niagara is saying there's a problem, and we are going to try to mitigate the risk because they are selling thousands and thousands of pounds of steel. I mean, you look at Benchmade, Spyderco, Chris Reeve Knives has transitioned everything over to MagnaCut.
Yep, it's all MagnaCut.
This is S35.
S30 maybe.
S30 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All coming from Crucible. This is like 158 jobs are at risk.
When I think of a premium pocket knife, I pretty much think of some S steel, right? S35, S90, S110, S40,
or 20CV
you know, 20CV, MagnaCut.
Yes.
These are all Crucible steels.
They're all coming out of this plant in Geddes, New York. So a little bit of history on Crucible. They filed for bankruptcy in 2009.
Yeah.
They were sold around that time for about $8 million.
Yeah.
Now, this was a company that had over 600 jobs.
Right.
They're down to 158. So this is a company that has probably been fraught with challenges for a hot minute now. And they could be closing within 90 days.
What does this mean for us, the knife industry?
Well, this is where it gets interesting because I think everybody wants to assume that the knife industry is huge. We're not. We are a small, small industry, even globally, right? So for the knife industry, this could mean that we have to change steels from like 20CV to some equivalent steel or S35 to something else.
Right.
It could mean that one of these other companies comes in and starts making the exact same formula for that steel. But what it really means is like, dang, like, what do we do?
Yeah, where do we go? Yeah.
Because you have to remember, like, everything relies on supply chains.
Right.
So if your G10 supplier kicks the bucket, or your micarta supplier, or your laser engraving, or your laser cutting supplier kicks the bucket and goes out of business, that impacts your entire supply chain.
Right.
So how does this impact Knafs? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot in terms of like, we're not manufacturers as of right now, right? So we're not bringing in these blanks and having to cut out steel and stuff like that. Like, we're in a bit of control with Wiensavivi or whoever, you know, Kaiser, who might make Garlander 2 or something like that, for them to tell us, well, we have these new options now.
Yes.
So not as much of a heartbreaker for us, but if big companies like Kaiser or we have to change, you know.
I mean, we're in the same boat. Like Kaiser makes this Lander 2,
Yeah.
S35 VN steel.
Yeah.
If they cannot supply S35, they're going to call us and we will have to change to something. I mean, you could change it to Bowler M390.
Bowler,
you could change it to, I don't know. This is where you start researching steels and you say, well, let's change it to that.
Right.
So it's an interesting moment. I thought it was kind of fascinating. I actually found this through the, what is the name of that group? Millie Para 3 group. We're going to call it the Millie group.
Yep.
Laren Thomas, who was the creator of MagnaCut, said big news is happening with Crucible right now, or they're saying they may shut down or go into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So he says, Bob of Niagara posted an update about the emergency contingency plans in motion no matter what happens with Crucible. But this is interesting. He's a guy who has designed a knife steel, the metallurgy behind this knife steel, that is a Crucible steel, MagnaCut. So he probably has part of his income tied to the success of Crucible.
Right.
And we all do.
Right. We definitely do. Yes.
It's kind of crazy. So this video will come out in a couple weeks. I'm curious between now and then if there will be any new news on this. But I think maybe my big takeaway from this is supply chains are fragile.
Fragile.
Doesn't matter if you're Benchmade, if you're Chris Reeve Knives, you could be around for 40 years making Sabenzas. But if your steel supplier goes out of business, you have to retool and remake. It's same thing with titanium. Most titanium, my understanding, comes from China and Russia.
Okay.
So if something happens with titanium, that changes a lot of stuff.
A lot of people are in trouble.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend who does machining. They do a lot of aerospace machining on titanium. They're loading up on titanium right now because there could be potential tariffs on incoming raw materials. So like this is USA made products that use imported materials. That would change things for their titanium. I can't speak for Chris Reeve Knives where they get their titanium, but it's interesting to see how the world is interconnected.
Yeah.
I think that old butterfly effect it's real, man.
Yeah, and this is why huge companies strive for stuff like vertical integration, right? If you don't know what vertical integration is, it's where you manufacture everything, including the screws of your knife. If you were vertically integrated making knives, you would even mill out the screws and every individual part, the omega spring, whatever. Like you're controlling that so that you're not relying on a steel supplier or a titanium supplier. But that's like, for most people, that is a pipe dream. That is a very hard thing to do.
Somebody had to mine the minerals, the elements out of the earth, right? Like,
unless your company is successful enough to start a mine operation.
What if we did a private equity company, Austin? A little foreshadowing there.
I like this, Ben.
Seriously though, like to make your own steel would be ridiculously cost prohibitive.
It would be.
And to mine your own steel. So there's a point where you cannot feasibly vertically integrate, which is fascinating. So we're following that story. I think it's really interesting, and it could impact Knafs. It could impact the entire knife industry, along with, and I want to mention this, the knife industry makes up maybe like this much of Crucible's business, right? Like Crucible is not having trouble because of knives.
Yeah.
Right? They're thinking about the rest of their business that is automotive, aerospace. Like, how are those industries doing? Chances are knives are just like, they're the tail on the dog, really.
Yeah, sugar on top. So, cool. Let's jump into the giveaway. We give away a Lander 1 every single week for just joining our, not our Moon Crew, our subscriber list, our email subscriber list. And this week, John C. from locally Syracuse, Utah here won.
Is his name John C. or John C?
John C. John.
I wish his name was John C, because that's a fun name.
That's right, John C.
If your name is John C, let me know in the comments. I might ship you something nice.
I went to high school with a girl named Jancy, and I always liked that name.
Jancy is the female version of John C?
John C.
I like it.
That's fun.
And next up, we've got the Moon Crew. So first is a question from John. John wanted to know, does anyone else carry a notebook? Definitely helps me remember what I need to do if I wrote it down. Do you carry a notebook, Austin?
I want to carry a notebook, but typically no.
You don't?
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
Yeah,
I've
please.
carried a notebook for 13 years, 14 years. Not this particular notebook. In fact, since we're at my house, we're doing this. This is happening.
Oh, I see him.
This is happening. This has needed to happen for a long time, but we're letting it happen today.
Ben is one of the, if you ask me who carries a notebook with them every day, Ben is the first person that comes to my mind.
Does anybody carry a notebook? Like literally, I have carried a notebook for a lot of years.
Yep.
And
Are they all field notes?
They're not. So
Okay.
I oscillate between field notes and moleskin. I actually prefer moleskin. Guys, we're going down a rabbit hole now. Get ready. So Field Note staples their edge binding.
Yep.
Moleskin sews them. So moleskin actually tends to hold up a little bit better. I have a tendency to paint them because it also helps them hold up better. This is one from the James brand that was probably pretty cool at one point, and then I made it cooler. But this has like gaffer tape around the edge because it was starting to fall apart. The other thing I do is I paint them, but then I doodle all through them. Like even like your back covers. Look, there's a gold star.
Oh my gosh, Gold Star Guru must have given you that.
Yeah, my kids draw in them. I put notes and all sorts of things. Doodles from Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Doodles from Amsterdam.
Yeah. I've been on a plane with Ben as he's falling asleep and writing in his notebook all of the conversations that he's had at the last Blade show. He's just writing them down.
I do, and I write them in tiny strips.
The smallest font that you could ever. Like, he's just got teeny tiny handwriting.
It's crazy though. Like here's some notes from when I went to breakfast with REC, River's Edge Cutlery. I write people's names down so I can remember them.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. What's the old saying? The shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory.
Wow, never heard that.
To that.
Wow.
So I definitely carry a notebook. Wow, that was a tangent. Thank you, John, for allowing us to be in my basement and show you my Field Notes collection. Let's clear this off the desk.
That's fun. We don't get to see that very often.
Next up, after that long tangent,
yes,
we've got the winner of the email list giveaway a couple weeks ago was Chris Williams, Christopher Williams. Fun to see when somebody wins.
Love it.
I want to see where this knife goes.
And one of my favorite things to see in these pictures is when they include the mint. Because, man, we try to give you a mint in every single one
I
of those
want to know in the
packages.
comments, guys, mint or no mint?
Yes.
I've debated, do we keep putting mints in
really?
in the order?
Are you debating it mostly because I eat maybe 10% of the mints
We
that come into the building?
Eat 25. The mint budget, the more people we add, the higher the mint budget goes. We've had some people be like, no, I don't want the mint in my Knafs order. So anytime you order from Knafs directly, we put a mint in there. Yeah. And I don't know, we've just done that forever.
I like it.
It's fun, but do you guys like it?
Yeah, exactly.
I know you like it.
Love it. Guys, we need to keep the mints in the box, guys. So
anyway,
cool.
I do enjoy that too.
Right on.
And that was it for Moon for this week.
Yeah, we're on to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop with Keith.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop. My name is Keith. We've got some interesting knives today. First off, we've got a Taylor Sheffield Eyewitness from England. This is a World War II era knife. The guy that brought this in said that his grandfather purchased this in England before D-Day. Very, very cool. You've got the leather wrap on the handle there. Just beautiful hand-ground dagger, just super cool. Love seeing the history of some of these things. This one's also pretty cool. This guy got this at a Mountain Man convention, so kind of cool. You know, this thing was obviously handmade. No idea what the steel is. We've got some cool jimping on the back here, just some crazy filing, so pretty neat. And then we've got a Benchmade 477 Emissary. S30V, this is an Osborne design. Pretty cool, you got the back lock on there. It's assisted opening, but yeah, pretty neat knife. Thanks guys, back to you.
And we're back from the shop and we're headed right into Product Spotlight, where this week we're talking about the Lander 2 Tonto.
Lander 2 Tonto, this one's kind of fun. So we've had a lot of folks ask us over the years, make different blade shapes.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we got to insert this, Ricky. This has got to be the new sign from our office. It says, "Drop points built this house."
It's very quaint. I like it.
It is. I was talking to Keith the other day, and he's like, "Why do you always do drop points?" And I was like, "Keith, drop points built this house." And it instantly became a Hobby Lobby Etsy style banner for the office. Yep. But really, I love drop points. But as we expand, it's been really fun to kind of branch out a little bit and play with different shapes. So by request from you guys and Keith, let's make different shapes. And so we started with a Tonto on the Lander 2. One thing that's interesting about this is we were going for like a really deep black, charcoal, deep black micarta.
Yeah.
We ended up with a charcoal one.
Charcoal. Yeah, if you guys want to hear some real inside industry knowledge, we were planning on doing like Black Friday, Black Lander 2, like it's gonna be a perfect match, and then it shows up and it's like this light gray.
Light gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pivoted.
And you know that's part of the game is you order things and sometimes they come in the way they want and sometimes they don't. But it's fun to me as we sit here and play with these knives that we've already made. You've got, this is a Lander 3, but just for comparison's sake, you've got the drop point, which is the original. We've done a Tonto and we've done a clip point. I was thinking to myself today, what if you did a karambit Lander 2? Like, what?
Whoa.
Would that even be a karambit? Like,
Whoa, definitely.
would it even be a Lander 2? Because you'd have to have such a weird blade shape.
I have a,
Handle, too.
we're on YouTube right now. I have a Nut & Fancy exclusive. It's a Kalashnikov, the Boker automatic, and it is a hawksbill.
Really?
So it's a karambit, but in the classic, just standard Kalashnikov handle.
Can we tell the good people, Austin, were you a Nut & Fancy... what did he call those guys? What were you? He had a name for his followers.
I don't know. Probably. Nut & Fancy.
A TNP'er.
Oh, yeah.
Was a TNP'er.
I was never like, I didn't buy any of the merch or anything like that. I do have a hat from when we took down the old Blade HQ studio. I took the TNP hat out of there.
You took the TNP hat?
I took the TNP hat out of there. But yes, Nut & Fancy for myself, like probably a lot of people watching this video, was kind of my first introduction to online knife people. I was telling probably one of our guys earlier this week that if it was 2005 to 2010 and you wanted to do research on pocket knives or guns or really anything tactical gear, Nut & Fancy was probably your guy.
Yeah.
So I got into him early and stayed along for a very long time, and he definitely fueled a lot of the reason that I'm here.
I saw him last year.
Yeah.
At the Blade HQ.
Yeah, we saw him at the
grand
Blade
opening.
HQ thing. He was out there showing his car.
It was fun to see him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He is a nice guy.
So my last day when I worked at Blade HQ the first time was filming with Nut & Fancy, and it felt like, this is great.
Yeah,
This is like a cool feather.
You made it in a way.
Yeah, in some ways, because I tried to do a collaboration with him forever, and he's like, no. And then I'm like, I'm leaving, and he's like, okay, we'll do it.
You guys want to know how much of a fan I was of Ben before I even met Ben? I remember that video very well.
Do you really?
There's a shot of like Nut & Fancy with a knife on a stick, like running at it. You guys are cooking in the woods, I think.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about the knife on the stick. That was some weird stuff.
I remember a lot from that video.
I should
was
go
a
back
big
and
fan.
watch that.
Yep, I definitely
Oh, maybe
watched
we can
you
pull in
guys.
some clips from that. If it's still out, I don't even know if it's still out there.
I don't either.
That's crazy.
Super fun.
So you had been watching before you ever worked at Blade HQ.
I knew your voice before I interviewed with you.
Weird.
Yeah, and
That's amazing.
I didn't recognize it until I got there, and I was like, I know exactly who that guy is. Actually,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
crazy.
It was cool.
Weird life.
Yep.
Good life. Next up, Mailbox.
Mailbox. We've got some big eye stuff. We've got
Yes.
some other stuff. I guess who's this from right
Dude,
there?
let's start on that one.
Let's start with that.
This came in the mail just yesterday from my friend Young Soo, who owns Urban EDC Supply. Came with a handwritten note. Thank you, Young Soo. Cool. And this is a Raven the Pirate Urban EDC collaboration. So it's like a memento mori, like time is passing quickly sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you've got this skull with the little gold tooth.
The gold tooth is just a winner.
Hand painted.
That's cool.
Sam was telling me. I was just on the phone with
Each
Sam.
one of the teeth?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In fact, Young Soo was like, we're not doing that again because it sucked.
Okay.
So this is going to come out sometime in December. And it's got some Latin here. Vita transiens, so life moves quickly, and something about savoring every moment. So,
Okay.
And then you've got the lens shutter in there.
Yeah, Sam's a
And
big
collectible collectible box. Collectible.
I like that.
But I think this stuff is fun. Personally, I'm not a coin collector by trade, on purpose. I have a lot of coins though.
Yeah.
And they're super fun to like pass around and like, I don't know, you pull them out for photo shoots or whatever. This is like perfect Sam, Raven the Pirate.
Yeah. I'm stoked for Sam. If you guys don't follow Sam already, go give him a follow on Instagram or something.
I think he's the very best photographer in the industry.
I would agree.
When it comes to an aesthetic, a long-term aesthetic and creativity, Sam is tops.
Yeah, I look at his stuff all the time, and it's some of the content that inspires me the most within the industry, I'd say.
And then this is a delightful box, guys. Packaging is hard. Can we talk about packaging for a minute? This is magnetic.
Yep.
And then it's built like a book.
It's a
but then
book.
the bottom edge, they have made flush.
So smart.
Little details like that, because it's just hard. Things are hard. Making
it.
things is hard. I sound whiny, but literally right before we started filming, Matt Fitzgerald, who does a lot of our design, jumped on he sent me a message. He's like, we need to have a packaging like blitz. And it was like a 3-hour thing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Because packaging's hard. You have to think about little details like making that flush on the bottom. So well done to Young Soo and Sam on that one.
Great job. And let's look at this knife. This is from our friends over at Big Eye.
Yeah.
What's the model on this one?
It's probably called the Titanium Knife 2 or something stupid like
Knife
that.
too, probably. We're
I
clearly,
love you guys.
clearly not doing the best on our research on that one, but
No, so the problem is they always name their knives like Big Idea Design Titanium Knife 2. It doesn't have like, it's like a cat named Kitty.
yeah,
Right? Like,
yeah.
it
What's the
doesn't-
cat's name?
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
cat when I was growing up named Kitty.
Yeah,
This is the kitty knife.
yeah.
That didn't get a name.
Well, we have the kitty knife, but,
Yeah, that's a good
but yes. I know
Anyway,
what you
this
mean.
one was on Kickstarter a couple months ago,
Yes.
and like a good neighbor, I couldn't help but back it.
Ben was
I was there. Thank you for that. I get excited when friends launch things.
I backed one of their recent pen Kickstarters, but what I will say about this knife is I've handled their other knife a little bit, their other folder. Yeah. This thing has a little bit cleaner of an action to me. It's a little bigger, I believe, just a touch bigger.
This is a Pete's Pirate Life knife.
PPL there.
Yep.
And then we've got a Lookout over there too.
And then a Lookout, yeah. One thing I find really interesting about Big Idea Design, and in fact, this is where things get really funny. So this is a Pete's Pirate Life knife that launched on Pete's Pirate Life. Well, then Big Idea Design launched basically the same knife, maybe different blade shape or something. People are like, you copied Pete's Pirate Life. And actually, they are Pete's Pirate
They
Life.
made Pete's Pirate
Yes.
Life. Yes.
Along with Pete, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a big collaboration. But when you look at these two, obviously these are friends, cousins, nephews,
Yep.
whatever. This one's a little more elegant.
Elegant, yeah. It's got the blade shape is a little different. I like the big jimps on it. It's got a bigger, thicker jimping. The way that the lock bar is cut out is very elegant. And then the thumb stud is really your big difference in the opening mechanism there.
And then I think it's fun, just for continuity's sake, there's a Lookout, which is interesting because these are house designs,
Yes.
probably by Chadwick. This is a Mac Kelsey design.
Yeah.
And you can see like, this is where I love design because things get weird and wonky. This is so angular, and then this kind of gets swoopy.
Yep.
A little bit of swoopy going on in the spine, just a little less rigid.
Yeah. A couple different languages in the same medium. Which
In the
is
same
cool.
medium and in the same brand.
Yes.
Which I get a huge kick out of. So well done to Big Idea Design.
Love it.
Mac, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but Brantley pronounced it wrong, so I think I will too.
I wonder if it's Kelsey, like the famous football player.
Is it Kelsey or
It might
Kelsey?
be. I don't know.
Let's think about that for next time. We should do more research.
Not about Big Eye. No way, never. I'll just watch every one of their vlogs. Cool. That's it for Product Spotlight. We're on to the mail.
Dude, what have we got? No. Comments. We just did the mail. And we've got a few comments from you guys on previous videos. This one's coming from Plucky Pack Rat, which, like, that's a lovely
Great
username.
name. Yeah.
When I sit down to make a username, I'm like, Ben Banters.
I know. I'm so lame. Austin Gets. That's what I put.
Plucky Pack Rat, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
he said, they say, if Knafs is looking to disappear the 14C28 Lander 1 and G10, I'm glad I now have 3 of them. I hope they last forever.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin them by installing skiff bearings, which is an aftermarket bearing that can go in the knife.
Yeah.
Just you watch, Ben Peterson, just you watch. I don't think you'll ruin them. I wrote something on the website once about skiff bearings and how if you want to swap your own, fire away. But that's not my problem, that's yours.
Probably not what we're doing for you, yeah. And good news for the Lander 1 14C models. We got a new one coming, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Stay tuned.
Absolutely. This one's from JP. I have the Lander 2 clip.
You're not going to try on that last name? Come on, Austin.
Kazarowski
like
is
it.
my best guess there. I have the I tried to get away with that. I have the Lander 2 clip point. Love the look and overall design of the knife, but the scales were too slick for me. I sanded them down with 400 grit paper and contoured them a little, and he loves them.
Oh no, that's interesting to me. Lander 2 clip point. So same basic handle as the Lander 3.
That paper micarta.
Yep, paper micarta, and they are definitely slick.
They can be.
Sand them down 400 grit.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And I love them now.
I
And
would
he
love to see
contoured
how
them,
those
too.
look. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Put that in the moon crew, JP.
Yeah.
Kazarowski. Dude, his whole life has been like, how do I pronounce it? How do you spell it? How do I pronounce it?
I can
JP?
feel you.
I'm sorry.
Yep, we love you, JP. This one's from Titans28. Can we get best darn heckin' EDC Ranger eyes made? Love that logo.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
That's a good idea.
We've got a project coming. Maybe.
Exciting.
Should we do that?
I think we should.
I
think it's a great suggestion.
Good idea.
Okay.
Aaron NC says that Chinese plum is called a Li Hing Muai and is quite popular in Hawaii. Nice. There's a powdered form that is to sprinkle on fruits and other snacks. Interesting.
Okay, that makes sense because they definitely have like some sort of crystal on them sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's almost like in Mexico, they sprinkle chili powder on everything.
Yes. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Love that. From A Tongs EDC, top 3 words, phrases from Ben Peterson. I love it. I love it. Cool, cool. Amazing. That's amazing. Additional. Interesting. That's interesting.
Okay. I feel attacked.
You're heard. You should feel heard, Ben. These people hear you.
So here's the deal. This is from the Taylor Martin video where we interviewed Taylor, and I did a lot of listening. And when you're interviewing somebody, if you're interviewing them on camera and you are off camera and you don't show up, you don't want to say anything. You just want to nod, right? But the problem is if you're sitting next to someone, you have to be like, yes, I hear you. I understand. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Those are my words. I say, I love it. Cool, cool, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. That's amazing, I should say.
That's amazing. Also, still comments about Ricky holding up the set. Ricky making the set come alive, quite literally. Ricky, he's the man.
Hey, Ben, and I actually learned this recently. This is from 94EAS. Hey, Ben and Taylor, just to clear up, there are actually no native buffalo in North America. They are all bison. Buffalo are native to Africa and Asia. I did learn this because I went to Yellowstone recently, and we had to have a whole group discussion. Is it bison? Is it buffalo? Buffalo is like a category of cow, basically.
Yeah.
So it's American
Terms
bison.
are not interchangeable as many people believe. Now, I'm going to agree with this on a scientific level.
I like where you're going.
I took a linguistics class in college once.
Yeah.
And linguistics gets to do whatever the heck it wants.
Yeah. You want to know what else comes up for a Google result on that? They're interchangeable. That will also
Really?
happen in Google.
Yeah,
So-
but Google's messy right now.
Oh, I hear you, but
Google's messy right now.
You're going against your own point that you're just making that linguistics can be complicated. So
It can be.
Yes.
I think I call them buffalo because if I say bison to my small children, they're like, "What's that, Dad?"
Yeah.
And like, do I have to teach my 4-year-old that a bison and a buffalo are the same thing? Eventually, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good parent.
He is a good parent. I was not laughing about that. I was laughing at him making the mental note that he will teach them that it's a bison.
Anyway, last one here, Lance. I love waking up on a Saturday here in Australia and watching the Knafs show. The topics and conversations are always great, and now I'm waiting for my first lander knife to arrive. Lance, if we could cheers and Vegemite, we would.
Absolutely. Here's
Can
to
you cheers Vegemite? If you put it on toast and then you cheers
We
the toast?
can, of course.
Can you mix Vegemite into a drink or something?
I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't either.
No, we're going to pass on that one.
Yeah. And last on our list, coming out of Deutschland, is this is actually out of Denmark. No, this is like fresh from Matt Wheelwright's printer.
It is.
Is a 3D printed Lego mini fig maxi fig. Is this a maxi fig?
I think we're calling him Big Fig.
A big fig.
Yes.
Pretty dang cool.
The cool thing about this one, I don't think the one that we had for Halloween was this. You can take the head off, you can take the body apart on this one. It's a little loud, but very cool. You can even, that is made to literally snap together.
Dude,
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what's really interesting about this? So I have known Matt for a lot of years, and his house, so we grew up next to each other. His house is full of Lego.
Okay.
Legos, as I would say, but the purists would say Lego. It's gotten weird today.
Are they bison
They're
Legos?
bison Legos.
Okay.
No, they're bison Lego.
Lego.
I feel like anytime you say Legos,
Bison legumes.
Lego.
Yeah.
Anytime you say Legos, the purists are like, they're Lego bricks.
Yes.
I'm like, no, but you just pluralized Lego.
Yes.
Right?
I'm with you.
Anyway, Matt's house is full of Lego, and it's also full of 3D prints. And so this is a delight to
Yeah.
have all of these in one place.
Super
We
fun.
like 3D printing because we release all of our scale files for all of our knives on our website. So you can go find a Lander 2, you can find a Lander 4, 3, all the different sizes. You can 3D print your own stuff. They're open source. I love that open source mentality because it allows people to make things that are new and interesting.
Absolutely. And if you're just looking for some accessories for your knives, we got that too. We got stuff for your desk, put a knife stand on there, put a little launch pad on there, have a strop guide. We love 3D printing and we love designing for it.
We do.
Check all of it out.
Austin, I want to know what's in your pocket today.
Oh, I've got a Lander 2 Tonto.
Do you?
Yes.
That was yours you were carrying?
It was the shops, but yes,
shops,
it is.
nice.
It is. I went ahead and added a little olive oil to the handles of this one. I did not use the classic mineral oil, so
I can't see what you're
It's a-
doing there
it's a
around our
bit
Lego
darker
Nice.
than that. But yeah, just wanted to see what it would look like if we do some oil on there.
Dude,
so.
I've been carrying
what do you
the
got?
Lander 3 clip point for a couple weeks now.
How are you liking? Let's start with the scales. How are the scales for you?
I actually don't mind them at all.
You
I
like
like them
them?
a lot.
Good.
Yeah, I would say they're kind of slippery, but like, guys, I'm not I'm not working with bowls and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing any sort of farm work with this.
Pretty light use.
Jamie's laughing behind the camera. Guys, since we're at the end of the show and nobody's here anymore, story time. Once upon a time, my uncle had a farm.
Okay.
And he invited us out on branding and castration day. And we go out to the farm, and they're like putting these young cows into the chute, and they're giving them shots, and they're branding them, and then they are castrating them with their knives, like little pocket knives. And I've never forgotten it. That's not me. I know that there are people out there that are doing.
Is that where
animal work.
Spayblade got its name? I thought it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For animal husbandry.
Yep.
So, anyway, I have enjoyed it a lot. How did we get there?
Don't know.
It's one of those
pocket
days.
checks.
Pocket checks.
Yep.
But I've enjoyed it a lot. But I'm not using it in slippery situations. That's where we got.
There we go.
Nothing crazy. So I really enjoy it.
Cool.
It's fantastic. Wow. Weird episode, folks. If you have stayed till the end, definitely subscribe to the channel. We do all sorts of 3D prints, all sorts of knives in piles on desks. And we'll have another episode coming out for you next week.
See you then.